Hello and thank you for watching. My name is Rachel Barnett with Gentle Frog. I'm here to create videos for you to help you understand QuickBooks slightly better than you currently do. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them in the chat box. Thank you.
Let's talk about your tips account in QuickBooks Online. When you collect tips, you're collecting a liability. The customer is paying you for the goods or services. They're paying the sales tax that you're going to set aside and turn into the state. And then if applicable, they're also providing tips. Tips are not your income. They're not going to show up as your revenue, and they're not going to show up as your expense. It's a liability account because it's money that you've collected on behalf of someone else, your employees or your contractors, that you've set aside to pay out to them. Let me show you what that looks like in the chart of accounts. I'm going to go to accounting and then chart of accounts. If your left-hand bar doesn't look like mine, you can go to the gear in the upper right-hand corner and you can go to chart of accounts under the header of your company. And then I'm just going to search for tips because it'll be faster. I have an account called Tips Payable. My account type is an other current liability. The detail type is whatever was at the top of the list because I never update the detail type. Let me go ahead and select View Register on the right. What you can see is that money was deposited into my bank account, so the transaction type is a deposit, and it increased my tips liability by $5. And then later there is an expense. Expense doesn't mean an expense to your business. It just means that the form on the screen was called an expense form, and it leaves the checking account. Let me open up each of these so you can see what it looks like. When I edit the deposit, you can see I have a bank deposit. I've deposited this money directly into my sales account. This could have been set up on a product and service. It could have been, instead of being a bank deposit, you could have used a sales receipt or an invoice. At the end of the day, you've said, I've collected this money and I want this money to show up or to increase my account called Tips Payable. So that's exactly what it does here. If you're ever uncertain, you can look at the debits and credits, click on More, click on Transaction Journal, and then see, okay, see that my checking account goes up by $105. My allocation is $100 to revenue and $5 to my liability account. Let's go back. Let's take a look at the expense. I'm going to select Edit on the right. What I can see is that I'm taking $55 out of my checking account and I'm sending it over to my vendor. The allocation of the $55 is $5 is coming out of the Tips Payable liability account. So I'm just undoing the entry that I did earlier. And then the rest of it is going to my expense account, in this case, professional fees. You're going to know why you have a contractor or a 1099 vendor. You're going to know what the appropriate expense account is for that situation. In this video, I want you to focus on the logic behind the liability account and the logic behind the tips account. Just because I collected money on behalf of my contractor doesn't make it my income, and just because I give the money that my contractor was owed doesn't make it my expense. Let me close out of this and I'll just show you the profit and loss so you can kind of see it in action differently. When I look at my profit and loss for today, I can see that I had $100 in sales and I had $50 in expenses. I've already shown you the Tips Payable register, so you know what's happening on the balance sheet. I hope that this helps and clarifies any questions you might have about what to do with the tips and why it doesn't show up as income. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below or to reach out. If you'd like any help, I offer one-on-one training myself. My team and I offer QuickBooks bookkeeping, both one-time and ongoing. We also offer on-demand courses for people who want to get to know QuickBooks in a safe and comfortable and structured environment. Again, I hope you have a great day, and if there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks.